Hello everyone, my name is Aakarsh Srivastava, registration number 242703048 and my teammate is
Aditya Gupta, registration number 24270300480.
today we are going to present our practical cryptography assignment using CrypTools 2. I'll be starting with Module A Task 1, which is Caesar cipher analysis. Here on my screen, you can see a mandatory input text, which includes my specific registration number, loaded into the plaintext input. I'm going to press play on this. I'm passing this through the Caesar cipher component using a shift key of 10. As you can see in the output box, our text is successfully encrypted into unreadable ciphertext. I will now copy this ciphertext to demonstrate how easily it can be broken. I'm going to copy this right now and I'm pasting it in this, which is the Caesar analysis template. And I'm pasting this as I'm playing this now. As the analyzer runs, you can see it instantly recovers my original plaintext and correctly identifies that the shift key was 10. To explain why this happens, the Caesar cipher is a simple monoalphabetic substitution. While it changes the letters, it completely fails to hide the statistical footprint of the English language. In English, the letter E is the most common. The analyzer simply performs a frequency analysis on a ciphertext. It counts the letter, finds the highest peak, and assumes that the peak corresponds to the letter E, and calculates the distance. Because of this statistical leakage, the cipher is broken almost instantly without needing to brute force the password. I will now hand it over to my teammate to demonstrate the task 2, AES, and the avalanche effect.
Here on my screen, we have the AES encryption template setup. In the plain text input box on the left, I have entered a standard sentence containing my registration number ending in the digit 0. The component is set to be the output the ciphertext in hexadecimal format. I will now start the simulation. If you look at the text output box on the far right, you can see our resulting ciphertext. It is currently represented as a specific sequence of hexadecimal blocks. Now I am going to stop the cipher. To demonstrate the avalanche effect, I am going back to our input and changing exactly one digit. I am changing the final 0 digit to 5. Now pressing the play button and looking closely at the new hexadecimal output, even though we only changed a single character in a plain text, the resulting ciphertext is completely different from the first one. This is what we call the avalanche effect. In a strong modern cipher like AES, changing even a single bit of the input should cause a massive cascade of changes, altering more than 50% of the output bits. This property is absolutely essential for security because it completely destroys any linear relationship between the plain text and the ciphertext, making it impossible for attackers to guess the input based on the similar outputs. I will now pass it back to Akash for Module B, Task 3.
Now I'll be demonstrating asymmetric key cryptography using the RSA algorithm. In the plaintext input, I have entered a mandatory certification string I242703048 to certify this work. I have run the simulation. As you can see, the complete cycle on the screen. The plain text is encrypted into the ciphertext and then successfully decrypted back to the original text. Unlike symmetric ciphers that use only one key, RSA generates a mathematically linked key pair, a public key and a private key. Now the assignment asks us to explain the key concept of decrypting with a public key to certify a work. In standard encryption, which is the default flow you see on my screen, someone encrypts a message with a public key and I only can decrypt it with my private key. However, to create a digital signature and certify this document, that process is reversed. I would instead encrypt or sign this exact string using my private key. Because the two keys are linked, anyone else can then take my ciphertext and successfully decrypt it using my public key. If the text successfully decrypts back to my original sentence, it mathematically proves that the message definitely came from me and has not been tampered with. I will now hand it back to my teammate Aditya to finish with Module C Task 4.
Finally, I will demonstrate Module C Task 4, which is password strength analysis, using this dedicated component CrypTool 2 We can measure how secure a password is based on its complexity and entropy. For our first test, I've entered only the 10-digit registration number as the password. I'll start the simulation now. As you can see, a numeric only password is very weak. The entropy, which is the measure of randomness, is low because the character pool is limited to just 10 digits. The tool gives this a very poor score, and a brute force attack would crack this almost instantly. Now, I am modifying the password to include a special character and a name. Now, after modifying the password, looking at the difference, by adding an uppercase letter, lowercase letter, and a symbol, we have vastly expanded the character pool. The entropy has jumped significantly. In cryptography, every extra bit of entropy effectively doubles the amount of work an attacker must do. This exponential increase in bit strength means that the first password could be broken in seconds. The new version would take years or even centuries to crack through a brute force attack. Thank you for your time. This was Aditya Gupta, registration number 2427030 section D.
Thank you for your time. This is Aakarsh Srivastava, 242703048 section D.